And most recently, we've seen the reintroduction of the 95% mortgage. I don't know what your views are, whether you think this is a good or a bad thing. I'd like to ask you, and what effect do you think it's gonna have in terms of real estate in the UK?
I think these 95% mortgages is like, well, is a great thing as long as it's taken in the right way. So it's going to open. This is the 95% mortgages is only allowed for they're only allowed for first-time buyers. So it's a great way for youngsters or people who's stepping on for the first time in the property ladder, which is a boost, which is really good for confidence. It's really good for the economy. You know, it's good for everyone, because it does. You do need to have those first-time buyers buying houses, and you don't want them to be completely leaving the areas where they have grown, where they have roots, simply because they just can't afford it in the areas where they are. So it's great to have them on that sense. At the same time, with any property bubble, then you run the risk that you run into negative equity very, very quickly. Because if you are buying at the top of or the peak of the mountain, and then suddenly we have another recession and prices go down, obviously there's no equity within the properties. You've only got a 5% equity, and that means that you would go very quickly into negative equity, and then you'll have houses that will be worth less money than what you paid for. And and that happened to me, not with a 95%, but I ended up, but back in 20 years ago, my husband and I bought flats that they, even today, they are still in negative equity. So it can happen at any time. And these negative equities situations are not good for anyone. You have to make sure, obviously, if it's your home, it doesn't really matter, because as long as you live on it, who cares? Over time, it will just reset itself, and then it'll go back into positive cash flow, and it'll go back, and you'll make money. But if you are an investor and you bought that house because you wanted that house for yourself as a first home, and then suddenly you decide, oh, I'm just gonna buy another house, and then leave that, then you could very, very quickly just go into negative equity. And then obviously you would have to just find the difference between that 95 to that back to 75. And then that's a big number to find, that 20% that you need to get extra. It could make you or break you in that sense. So yes, I do love that. I think it's a great opportunity for first-time buyers and youngsters to just go out in the property market, get your food stamp, but just buy at the right price. Do not get lured into things that are not worth the money.
And this is Raquel Queral. If you have any more questions or want to know a little bit more about how we work and how we can potentially work together, just drop me an email at thegreenlandlady@gmail.com. Thank you very much and have a good evening.